In this video, I'll be sharing my first impression of the Demogorgon and its new map. Let's start by looking at the killer's attributes. It has the standard killer 32-meter tear radius and movement speed, as well as being very tall and easy to see. So unless you're using the Demogorgon's tunnel ability, it's going to be pretty hard to sneak up on survivors. Also, in case you missed what the Demogorgon's perks were, here's what they look like. Keep in mind that these numbers and anything you see in this video may change when the Stranger Things chapter hits the live servers. Now let's talk about the Demogorgon's power. There are 3 components to it. The first is that you can create portals similar to how the Hag creates traps. Portals only take 1 second to set up, and up to 6 of them can exist at once. You can travel between any 2 portals and gain stealth for 2 seconds after exiting one. All survivors will hear a notification every time you use a portal. 3 important things to note about portals. 1. Survivors cannot see or destroy portals until you've used them at least once. 2. If you're teleporting to a portal that survivors are sealing, teleportation will always take priority. And 3. Survivors who interact with portals suffer the oblivious status effect, which means they will not hear your tear radius until they stop. The power's second component is that you can hold a right click to reveal survivors who are near your portals. However, a portal only reveals survivors if you've traveled to it at least once. Portals marked by white auras have not been used yet, while portals marked by yellow auras have. And the third component is the Demogorgon's pounce attack. It takes 1 second to charge and slows your movement speed slightly, but lets you perform a long-range lunge that can allow you to land hits on survivors in situations where you otherwise couldn't. As for the Demogorgon's add-ons, I found them to be pretty boring. Most just increased things like power recovery or activation time. There were only a few that did something beyond modifying numerical values. I feel like there was definitely room for more creativity here, but it wasn't utilized. Maybe the team's creative energy was poured into the new map, which I quite admire for the level of detail that was put into it. There are plenty of Easter eggs from the Stranger Things series to be discovered, and they definitely nailed the atmosphere with elements like flickering lights and spreading corruption. Speaking from a gameplay standpoint, almost every section of the map is a narrow corridor, which I suspect will make it fantastic for killers who use traps. It also has multiple floors and short lines of sight, so stealth-based killers will also probably do well on it. There are some killers I could imagine not liking this map though. Huntress, Nurse, Clown, Hillbilly, and Spirit will probably have a hard time since there are many hallways and corners survivors can use to avoid their powers. When it comes to the map's pallet spawns, most pallets are unsafe or can be mind-gamed. But there are a few rooms with double pallet spawns that need to be looked at. Overall, I see it as a killer-favored map, similar to the map The Game. But let's circle back to the Demogorgon and discuss how it actually feels to play. In most of my games, I started off by setting up portals near generators. Placing them behind corners or walls worked best, since survivors wouldn't know exactly where I'd pop up when teleporting. After I'd set up my portals, I'd wander around looking for survivors. If I couldn't find any, I'd backtrack using the portals I'd set earlier, and would almost always find them on a generator I'd already patrolled. Now as for how chases felt with the Demogorgon, I found there were largely only 2 scenarios: short loops where I couldn't use my shred ability, and long loops where I could. Because charging shred takes a second and lowers your movement speed, loops that involve frequent turns will make using the Demogorgon's pounce ability impossible, which effectively turns him into a killer with no power. But when there's a loop that requires a survivor to run down a long path, the Demogorgon can shut those down quickly. So overall, I think the new killer is pretty strong, probably around the power level of Huntress. His portals give him both map awareness and map pressure, and his shred ability lets him end chases faster than a lot of other killers. His early game is a bit slow since he has some setup to do, but he can still chase survivors just fine even without his portals. I think the Demogorgon will make for a great addition to the game. So that's it for my thoughts about the new Stranger Things map and killer. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe for future content.